know it's a real demo when Steven DeLeon shows up. That's thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, so I've got this little page pulled up for our deployment. Today we're going to deploy a project that is very near and dear to all of your hearts. Yep. Rate my cakes.
Yes.
All right.
The internet needs it.
The internet needs cake rating. So let's take a look at this deployment page and just see what we need. We need an AWS account. Lo and behold, I have one of those. We need a GitHub or Bitbucket account. We need an internet connection, and Git should be installed locally. Cool. So you guys are probably pretty all set with the first 4 requirements. If you don't have an AWS account, get one. So let's just go to AWS and just kind of get our console opened up here. If I go to AWS Management Console, there we go. So I've got some stuff. I'm just going to check this EC2 location here. I don't have anything running currently. I do have some security groups. Anyway, so let's get back to this. To get going, we need to have a fully functional project locally. We've got that. It needs to be version controlled via Git. This is a good practice anyway. And then we're going to make a GitHub Bitbucket repository. Does anybody want me to go through that part of this, or is that sort of like, yeah, I know how to make a repo, and should we just kind of blow past that, or what? Yeah, we could do that. Sure, no problem. So let's go, I'll just go to my GitHub here, and then repos.
Good question.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is there a way to do it without doing all of this? Doing the GitHub?
That is me, I assure you.
Like, GitHub or
doing it without GitHub? Without GitHub or Bitbucket, is that what you're saying? Yeah, of course. There are always other ways. You could probably SFTP into your server if you wanted to do it that way. That's not how we're going to be doing it today, so if you were going to try some alternate method or whatever, make sure that you do it again ahead of exam day so that you kind of know how that method works. But yeah, ultimately all we really need to do is get all of our project files onto the server, because once we've got them on the server, then we're pretty much golden. That's the whole purpose of having our repository here. So let's go into this. I'll just delete it so that we can start from scratch. Danger zone, delete this repository. Rate my cakes. Uh-oh. I don't know my password, but thankfully I've got this LastPass to help me out. Highly recommend that you guys use that. LastPass?
LastPass.
Yeah, it's it really comes in handy. All right, so let's start from scratch. We already have a repo locally, so in here, whoops, let me close out of this. Here we are inside of our rate my cakes, and we'll just see we've got our git status. Whoops, I'm in the wrong folder. So coding. Sorry, I thought I was in the right folder. So we go to documents, coding, JoJo stacks, mean, assignments, rate my cakes. Okay, and then we'll check the git status. Branches up to date. So basically, if we want to create a new repo, and I can even, if you guys don't know where the where Git lives, I'll just show you here. So if I go ls-la, and then we'll do the current directory. So notice that there's this Git folder in here, this dot folder. That's where all the Git stuff lives. So if I want to sort of nuke my local Git repo, I should be able to just can that folder completely and it'll start from scratch. So let's go, we'll just do rm-rf, and what that means is we are recursively deleting all the subfolders inside our .git. Okay. Now if I run git status, it should tell me that this is not a git repo. Yeah, because we've essentially killed our git repo. So let's start from scratch. We'll just go git init. Okay. Now you'll see all these files. Whoops, I guess I should make this bigger. You'll see all the files are now in green with some exceptions. The ones that are accepted are the ones that I put in my git ignore, which is just node modules, because that folder gets really, really large and I don't want that to be part of my repo. So I've got this ignored here, and also inside of our public, you'll see node modules is not green as well. It's also being ignored inside there. Okay, so now that we've initialized it, let's just add to it. So I can say git add the current folder. So add everything to it, and then we'll go git commit, and then my message is just, this is my initial commit. Oops, commit. All right. Now I want to create my remote repository so that I can actually push my code up to it. So let's just go add a new repository, and we'll call it the exact same thing. Great. Create the repository. And you guys would like when you're doing this for actual deployment, just select private so that other people can't swipe your test code. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, so this is where we are. We've created the repository, and all I need to do, since I'm pushing an existing repository, is grab these commands down here. So what this first one does is it just tells our local repository where our remote source is going to be. So do that. And then the second command is to actually push up our code from our local repository. Whoops. You know what? Hang on one second. I don't want to do this under HTTPS. I want to do it as SSH. Sorry about that hiccup there. Because I don't want to have to like put in my password. I don't even know what it is. LastPass knows it. That kind of thing. So let's just do it here. Whoops. So now I need to do git remote set URL origin. Let me get what that was. Okay, so let's see what our git remote says. Origin. Okay, now let's try to push to it. Oh, I have to do this actually. Set upstream origin master. Whoa. Let's do that. Okay. Okay, so you guys probably won't likely have to go through that pain because you would have done the HTTPS version, which will actually ask you for your password. Okay, now if I just load the code here, let's see if it's actually there. Okay, so now my code is up on GitHub and I can actually clone it from the server once I've created the server. So let's keep going here. Part 2 is that we're going to set up our AWS and launch a new instance. So let's go into this EC2 dashboard here, and I've got 0 running instances. I'm going to go in here to launch an instance, and then this is kind of a key component because I know some people have been charged for their servers. So we're trying to get one of these ones. It's just an Ubuntu 16.04. I'll search for 16.04 here. And notice that this one is free tier eligible. So that's what I want. If I go to the one of the other ones, like this, you see how there's no free tier eligible? So that could potentially cause you to get charged if you go with that. So go with the first one here. We're going to select it. Okay. And then the other part of the process that we need to do is we have to set our security settings. So we're going to go, we want this T2 micro, like it says here. And then our secure settings, we're going to do SSH, all zeros, HTTP, all zeros, HTTPS, all zeros. So let's do this. So inside the security group, we've got SSH, and we're going to turn that to anywhere, like it said in the instructions. Add another rule for HTTP. Set that to anywhere. And basically what this means is that we're going to be able to access our server from anywhere. We don't have to restrict it by IP address. Okay. So let's go HTTPS, same thing, anywhere. Okay. Then we'll review and launch. They're going to say, you know, your security group is open to the world. All right. Fair enough. Okay, so we should be good to go. I think that's all we need to do. So we have to download a key, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's launch this. And now what it's going to say is we can get some kind of a key pair to actually sign into our server. So instead of doing an existing key pair, I'm going to go create a new key pair so you guys can see what this looks like. And then we'll just call this mean key pair, like that. Download key pair, and then that's just going to download directly into your internet, whatever downloads folder you're using. Okay, and then I'll launch the instance. Now in here, you'll notice what we have to do is we have to change the user permission on that PEM file. So I'll just go to my my command prompt real quick and just go cd downloads, and then we're going to do this chmod command 400, and then what I called mine was mean key pair, I believe, key pair .pem. Okay. Okay, so now for PC, that command might require kitty or putty or bash terminal. Hopefully you PC owners have one of those things. Okay, so let's navigate to the folder where our PEM file is. And we're already there. We're in our downloads folder. And what we want to do is we want to run this command to actually get access to the remote server. So we're going to go ssh-i. So ssh-i, and then I'm going to say whatever my PEM key name pair, whatever it's named. Okay, I called mine mean key pair, so let's use that, key pair .pem, and then this is essentially Ubuntu. This is our username, and then we're going to do at whatever the AWS IP address is. So we'll say Ubuntu at some IP address. Let's see what that is. Your instance is now launching. Let's see if I can click on it. Okay, so now we have this public IP address. Let's try to use that. Actually, I think I can just copy it to the clipboard there. And then let's go in here and paste it in. Okay, so it's gonna say the authenticity of the host can't be established, and then it's gonna ask you if you want to continue connecting. You're just gonna say yes. Okay, so now we are inside of our server, and you can see our command prompt looks a little bit different here. It's telling us we're at this IP 172.3.1.3.1.217. Great, we're good to go. So let's keep going with the instructions here. The first thing that we're going to do is just update our Ubuntu here. So sudo apt-get update. Let's do that real quick, and then I'll grab this other command while we're waiting for that to go. Build essential, open line. So basically we're just kind of installing some things that we're going to need. Not really anything you need to worry too much about. Okay. All right. And then while we're waiting for that, we'll check what's coming up next. So here we're actually going to install, you can see Node.js and Node.js Legacy. Don't ask me why we're installing Node.js Legacy because I'm really not sure. But this works. Okay, so let's come in here and just paste that sucker in. Whoops. Notice how it ran right away. Do you guys know why that happened? No? No, what it was is there's actually a hidden return character in here. So see, I sort of copied a little bit beyond. So anyway, that's why that happened. So in case that doesn't work, try sudo apt install node.js-legacy instead. I think we already did that, did we not? Didn't we install Node.js and Node.js Legacy?
They're saying that doesn't work. Syntax is that way.
Right, yeah, I guess so. Good point. All right, so let's keep moving. Everything appeared to have worked. I didn't see any error messages, right? So now we're going to install npm, which is the package manager you guys know and love. Okay, so after this operation, more disk space will be used. We'll say yes to that. All right. Go back to our instructions here. We need to npm cache clean. So you can see here that the cache clean -f forcibly cleans the cache, and then this will give you an interesting comment. It actually does. I sure hope you know what you're doing. I do too. All right. Okay, so in the Ubuntu terminal, these install the node package manager n and updated node. So n is kind of different. That was pretty quick. Okay, so n is going to allow us to install the stable version of Node, or we can install some other version if we want. I don't think you guys are going to go off the beaten path here, so you'll probably stick with stable. Okay, now let's do this. Sudo n stable. Okay, so you can see there we just installed, hopefully you can see it's kind of small. Yikes. We just installed version 10.16.0, and that's probably what everyone has locally on your computers. And then if you ever need to check it too, you can just do node-v, and there we are. We've got 10.16.0. Next, what we need to do is we need to install Nginx. Does anybody know what Nginx is? It is a web server. So let's do that. Yes, I want to continue. And then also we're going to install Git. Why do you guys think we need to install Git? Yes, exactly. So that way we can just simply clone our repository. Now, Dwight, if you're going to do it in a different way, if you're going to do like an SFTP or something, you really wouldn't need Git on yours. So let's do that here. Okay. Wow, that was incredibly fast. Okay, now what we need to do is make this directory where our project is going to live. So it's going to be /var/www. And if I remember correctly, this directory may already exist. So let me just check. Okay, so that directory already exists. We don't actually need to make it. I'm just going to skip over that. but now we want to go into it. So let's cd, that's instruction number 8 here. We're going to go into that. Okay, and now this is where we're going to clone our project. So we're going to drop it into this var/www directory. So our repository address here, you see we've got this clone or download thing. And I'm going to change this because right now it's on an SSH key, which you guys probably don't have for Git. Just change it to HTTPS. Okay. I think I copied that to my clipboard. So now here, let's just clone it. So we'll go git clone, and then the address of the repository. Permission denied. Okay, so we got to do sudo on this guy because we are in a directory that's owned by root. So if I go ls-la, notice how root owns all of these directories that we're in right now. That's why it's saying permission denied. So let's go sudo clone, git clone, and then the address. Alright, so we cloned our code and we can actually see it in there. I have rate my cakes, which is nice. Excellent. Let's go back to our instructions here. At this point, you should be able to change directories into your project and run your server. It will most likely fail because of not having MongoDB up and running and not having a dist folder. But running the project should be as simple as nodeserver.js or similar. Okay. So yeah, we haven't installed our dependencies yet. Remember how git ignore was ignoring our node modules folders? So ultimately, we no longer have those folders inside our project, and if I were to do, let's just ls what's inside rate my cakes. So see, I have no node modules folder, which means that I'm going to have to install those dependencies in order for my server to actually run properly. Okay, let's keep going with the instructions. So we're going to go to Nginx's sites available directory. All right. And then I'm going to do this sudo vim with the name of my project. Does anybody know what vim is? Nobody? It's just a text editor. So I'll just call this rate my cakes. Okay. And now in order to insert into this, I need to press the I key. So first I'm going to grab all this code here. And then I'm going to press I to allow me to insert into this document. And then I can paste it in like I would normally. And then to get out of my insert, I would just press escape. Okay? And then in order to actually save this file, I need to type in colon and then WQ, which stands for write quit. So I'm writing my changes to the file, and I'm also quitting out of Vim. But actually, before I do that, I need to change something. Notice how here we've got, whoops. Notice how we've got some placeholders here that we need to change. So let's fix that before we get out of here. So the project port for my project is 3000. That's where I usually run my stuff. Yours may be different, but I'm just going to put that in there. And then the private IP is going to come from the actual AWS instance. So here our private IP is this 172.31.31.217. I'll just copy that. And then back in here, let's get rid of this placeholder here and drop that in there. Okay? And now again, to get out of the insert, all I need to do is press escape and then colon WQ to write quit. Excellent. So if we want to look at this file, we could use this command cat and just go rate my cakes. So that's how the file looks, and that's how we want it to look. So we're good to go. Let's keep moving. Okay. So basically what we're doing is we're telling the server on this port, so on port 3000 and at that specific IP address, I want you to listen for connections. That's what the listen 80 is for. Okay, now we're going to remove the defaults from sites available. So that should be pretty simple. Sudo rm default. Okay, and then we're creating a symbolic link from the sites available version to the sites enabled version. So let's just copy that sucker. And what this means is that inside of sites enabled is going to see a file that's actually not in there because we're just linking it. We're saying the file that's in sites available is now going to be available. We can reference it in sites enabled, but it's not physically there. It's kind of like kind of like in linked lists, how a node is pointing to something else. So there's this reference that's pointing to a file, but it's not physically in that directory. So ours is just called rate my cakes, and then I need to fix this placeholder as whoa. Never mind. Okay, I need to fix this other placeholder here. Say that's rate my cakes as well. Rate my cakes. Okay, so I created a symbolic link, and then we're going to remove the defaults from the Nginx sites enabled, and I'll just grab both of these in one swoop. All right, we're good to go. Okay, now project dependencies and PM2. Let's install this thing. It's called PM2, and that stands for Process Manager. What that's going to enable us to do is to keep our site alive even though we've signed out of our server. Because you guys, when you're doing your development, you remember we always have nodemon running, and that's what enables us to keep hitting the site again and again. But we need to have this be a long-lived process. So we're just going to sudo npm install PM2. Okay. And then the -G, what does that mean again?
Global.
It's going to be a global node module on our server. Okay. And they're saying here, try some stuff with PM2. I think I'm going to skip over that since it's not really important yet, because we haven't installed the dependencies for our project yet. So really, it's not going to work properly. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is we have to install the project dependencies. So we want to, we want to actually get back to our project directory, which is going to be, it's at the var www rate my cakes right now. And then I'm just going to say npm install, permission denied. I got to sudo this because I don't own this directory. Okay. Uh-oh. High severity vulnerability. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it was actually in the repo too. Lodash was the security vulnerability. So I think maybe, I'm guessing maybe either Express or Angular uses an older version of Lodash or something like that. Anyway, so that was the warning there. We're not using Bower, so you can skip over this part. Okay. The other thing we need to do is we need to install MongoDB. So I'm just going to go with this version 16.04. This is pretty cool. I can just grab this code, drop it in there. Good. Okay, and then I want to do my sudo apt-get update. Okay. So this is updating all the stuff on my Ubuntu server, and then if I finally install Mongo here, let's give that a shot. I think this was where I ran into a quick hiccup. Let's see if that happens again. So here there were unauthenticated packages, and -y was used without -- allow unauthenticated. So what I'm going to do is add this little extra flag here to allow unauthenticated. So here, add that in there, and that should allow us to complete our MongoDB installation. Okay, next we want to start up Mongo itself, and as it says, it may already be started, so let's see. Okay, it didn't seem to give us a problem here. So let's see if we go into, oops. Okay, so if you're having troubles getting mongod to start with service, try running it manually like this, sudo mongod, which is probably exactly as you guys have been running it locally anyway. Check for an error code. We didn't get any of those, and we didn't seem to have to build a data-db folder. Let's try starting up our project. So I'm inside my project right now. I should be able to go pm2 start and then server.js. Okay, so it started my server there, and I can go pm2 status just to see like what everything looks like. Uh-oh, seems like I'm getting some errors. Did we not is Mongod not starting? Mongo. Okay. Oh shoot, I'm in the wrong. Goodness. Somebody stop me. Sudo. I'm like in my local project directory here. Okay, so sorry, that's what happens when you have too many terminal windows open. So we have MongoDB started. Let's try starting our server here. So pm2 start, and then we'll go server.js. Okay, let's check it out again. pm2 status. Okay, so we're online and it's not restarting. There doesn't appear to be any kind of an issue here. So let's just go to our public IP, and I'll grab that again from over here. And then HTTP that welcome to Nginx. Where was the root route for this just this? Do you guys remember on rate my cakes?
I don't remember how you did it. So what slash or the slash cakes?
Slash cakes.
I would guess slash cakes.
Okay, let me check something here. So if we go to, alright, so if we go back to etc nginx, and then we've got our sites enabled. Oh, you know what? I think maybe we somehow or other I skipped the step where we restarted Nginx. Where was that? Oh yeah. Whoops. Okay, yeah, so we do need to restart Nginx because Nginx doesn't know about that configuration that we did in it to tell it, route to that particular application. So let's try that again.
Wow, there you
Who wants to rate some cakes?
go. Happy days are here again.
Happy days are here. You can rate a cake. Maybe we should just add one for posterity. Yeah, that was it. Cakes. Here's a good one. Let's see. Copy image address. Let's say Bob the cake maker. Holy moly, we have cakes to be rated, and then we can even add this. Oops. All right.
I really need an HBO series about the inner life of Bob.
Bob the cake maker. There it is, deployment.